starting early?
Yeah, why not? Who cares?
I got 5:58 here. I thought you'd give me a heads up at 6 o'clock.
I've got 59:30. What clock are you on? Mohegan
59 on my iPhone.
Boy, Mohegan Sun will give you everything, including time. That's amazing.
Jason is here today. Was here trying to get here last week. Couldn't get here because of traffic. He says 59. You start the show early. What are you doing? See, I knew it. I knew it. There's a little bit of tension here. I just talked to you 2 minutes before. I asked you about putting some chats up. Gave me some shit then. You're annoyed at me for some. Oh, there. See, you can do that. There we go. Mutstack.com. Subscribe for free. That's why you started early. You want to get me riled up here. What's going on, man? Greg?
I love it, man. This is fantastic.
I got apologies to make off the bat. Okay, we are live here, Mohegan Sun Sportsbook Live, Mohegan Sun. Hopefully I'm centered. So a couple of things we're going to work on today. Number one is centering the camera. Try to be better there. There you go, Tom. We'll get the clock going. Number two, another apology, number two. I should have worn the suit last week because, quite frankly, the way this thing is going, they're going to have me be a greeter here at some point. That's my next career, is being a greeter at Mohegan Sun. And the third thing I'll apologize for is one of my picks in a second. Eitan Shander, Mutt here, live Mohegan Sun. You're producing. You're on the air. You seem annoyed already. What's the problem? What's the problem?
Man. I'm having fun.
Yeah, okay, you don't look like you're having fun. You look like you're annoyed at me already. What's the problem?
So that's just I look like I'm annoyed at the world. That's just who I am. That's just how I am. That's all.
Yeah, nice
no, I'm thrilled, man. You don't understand. And I don't think the people, your people, or maybe it's Kirk's people, I don't know, but everybody's people, I don't think they recognize that I look forward to this. Like, this is one of the highlights of my week, and I'm not even physically there with you. Imagine how much more fun I would be if I got to really enjoy and take in all of the sights and activities at Mohegan Sun, including getting extra time, which I didn't think was even on the menu.
Extra time here. We have a lot to cover in the next hour. I want to say off the top, if people are watching live, I get at this point, it may be a little late, but if you're in the area of Mohegan Sun, very simple process here, Eitan, right? Bomber Brad wants to thank people for coming out here to the show. Two simple things, okay? And thank you, Milton's. Yes, always Milton's. Thank you, Bill. Miltons.com. Any $10 bet you make, and people are making them already, any $10 bet you make during our show tonight, next Thursday, the rest of our run, until Bomber Brad just shuts the entire thing down and goes to Scandals and Animals and does a new format, okay? Every $10 bet you make, you qualify for a $50 voucher right at 7 o'clock. Just that simple. Make a $10 sports bet. You're listening right now in the book. Go place your bets. 7 o'clock, give away a $50 voucher. That's simple. Number two, tonight, last minute, wish I could have promoted this earlier. We got 2 Pats tickets. Pats Seahawks this Sunday. So this gentleman
right here. Where did this come from?
Go place your sports bet. I think it's Bomber Brad. Bomber, how do you get the tickets? They're Bomber tickets. They're Bomber VIP tickets he's promising. That's what he's saying. So if you're in the area, you can watch on YouTube. Thank you. If you come by, place a $10 sports bet, qualify $350 voucher. You also qualify for Pats tickets. And we are working on, I don't want to spoil this because we're still crossing T's and dotting I's. Big grand prize for all qualifiers in November. And the grand prize is a very big grand prize. Yes, I know. I'm terrible at tying my tie. My wife is not here to help me here today. Bomber wouldn't help me, so it's a little bit crooked. So I apologize. So it's not that bad.
Do you realize what you've just set yourself up for? Not only is the typical, like, why are you ruining your career working with Shander going to pop up across all of the channels, the popular channels tomorrow, but now you have given all of the usual suspects who are just looking to fire at you. You just gave him a screenshot of you, like one of those Joe Buck with the ties off and shit. Come on, man. You got to do better, Mutt.
It looks a little bit better right now. So if you're in the area, come fix my tie, come harass us, come ask where Eitan is, and let's talk some football for the next hour. Bomber Brad will join us. What's up?
Yeah, I put a collar on. I got harassed last week. I shaved. Look at this. I shaved. I trimmed the beard. Right? Seriously, you are in the suit, but you're there. That's all.
Yeah. Yes, and I'm working as a greeter at 7 o'clock. You'll see me right outside Michael Jordan's, getting people to their seats. So I apologize for not wearing the suit last week. I apologize for terrible camera work. Try to be better this week. And I apologize for Carolina. All right. I am willing to take any and all arbs.
Yeah.
I loved Carolina last week. It was the first pick I gave out on this show. Carolina +4. And it was one of those games where you're sitting there Sunday, and I was just hopeful that Scott Hanson would stop showing the game because it was so embarrassing. Bryce Young threw a pick out of the gate, and I hate to overreact, but they're terrible, and I can't be worse the rest of the year than giving out Carolina, seeing them get blown out. So I apologize for that. Any picks you want to apologize for to start the show here tonight?
A lot. Absolutely. The audio is absolutely working. So it's old, right? Are they going to do this every week, Mutt? Just so we know.
It happens on YouTube. My kids watch YouTube videos, and in the chat, all people do is say audio is out. It's audio's in Spanish.
It's just,
you gotta block it out. Block it out.
I'm going to time out people because it's stupid. And if they don't like it, even more fire for them to hate me. I love it. Absolutely love it. So how am I triggered? I just think it's hilarious. That's all. Oh, triggered. Tom Quinlan, Framingham's finest, got me. I can't do the show anymore, Mutt. What am I going to do? So here's the thing. I'd like to apologize for, I think, a lot of what we did. Although Thursday night was there. So we were in on Thursday night. But I think for the most part, it was more disaster than not. Carolina was absolutely up there. I had them at +5, so I'm with you right there. Tennessee 4.5 was the one that I would apologize for. But, like, do I have to? Will Levis is a disaster, right? Like, Will Levis, I shouldn't have to apologize for Will Levis. That's all.
There's a lot of bad effects.
No, I mean, that killed me.
That was a bad one.
Right.
What about Monday night? You had Monday night too, right? You have a little Jets action. You had the Jets against the 49ers.
So do you understand that I think what Will Levis did was probably unforgivable to the point where I forgot I even had the Jets. Like I forgot that I even bet. Like Monday night, I don't remember Monday night because of what he just handed the ball over like this. Yeah, Jackson, you absolutely should fade my picks. I would definitely suggest that 100%. That's why Mutt's here, is to bring on somebody worse than him.
No. That's the opposite.
Exactly why I'm here.
You do this for a living. I am like a part-time. I'm here to guide people to your picks. What you do on Odd Shop, right? You do 1 million shows a day, give out 1 million picks.
No.
Some are going to be right, some be wrong. We hope we push people towards some winning bets. I went 3-2 on the show, 2-1 in our best of. What was your final record? You got to keep track of this stuff.
I have to go back and it wasn't. I did not hit 500. I can tell you that. Like, it was brutal, for sure. But there were a couple that we hit, like Pittsburgh outright and stuff along those lines.
Under was good there. Pittsburgh, Atlanta was good.
Yeah, it wasn't. Look, I'm here to bounce back with you this week. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Is it's week to week. Week 1 is gone in the books. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you're looking to overreact, like 50% of the chat right now, to something I did. You never know. Like you don't know how people are going to look week to week when it comes to betting from what they saw the previous week.
13-3 were the favorites in week 1 straight up. They were 9-7. 9-7 against the spread, and then 9-7 to the over. Do you have any? You're saying not to overreact, but any big takeaways from what you saw in week 1? Anything change your mind about the league? I'll tell you the one thing for me I was surprised by was the amount of running in week 1. And I don't know if this is some sort of thing where coaches have decided that defenses are faster, they're smaller, they're going to run, but there was more running than passing. 34 rushing touchdowns to 32 passing touchdowns. So it was flipped. You saw it a lot differently the last couple of years. So I guess I'm a little bit worried about some of these high-flying offenses that maybe I thought would be more dynamic. I mean, even the Bills, we'll see them tonight. We'll get to them later in the show. They want to run the football. Josh Allen had 4 pass attempts at halftime in that game. So I'm trying not to overreact. I'm with you, but I was surprised by the running in week 1. Anything stand out on your end? Excellent background at Mutstack.com.
Well, it's just me pandering to the chat, Mutt. That's all it is.
Good. That's fine. If it's promoting my newsletter, you can do that. That's okay with me.
Yeah, I think your team, people want to buy in. I don't know what they want to take a chunk out of, but the Cincinnati Bengals just humiliate. They were the team version of Will Levis last week, and I'm not going to take away anything positive from the Patriots outside of they took advantage of it, and congrats and good looking on them for doing such. But I don't know how much of that is now the Patriots are a different team that people thought or predicted coming into it. That's one. I'm not taking away anything at all from that Brazil game, because I went into that game expecting the Eagles defense to struggle a little bit, and I expected their offense to just be able to cook when needed. Jordan Love goes down, that's going to be a problem. But that was another one I didn't want to overreact to because it was such a unique situation.
I will tell you what. Let's start with the Patriots. Good job by you, because a lot of Patriot fans watching. They'll be in here betting on Sunday. Patriots
just helping
Seahawks.
You produce a show, man. That's all.
That was the Bengals losing it. Now, it's an important win for the Patriots for a different reason. From my perspective, I still think they can finish with the fewest wins in the NFL. They're not going to go winless. My bet's not dead yet for fewest wins, but I'm feeling less confident about that. But the reason it's big is not a betting reason. It's a coaching reason, because when you win that first game, there's pressure off Gerard Mayo now, right? He doesn't have to go to Drake May. He's not being asked, why just suck out of the gate? He is a little bit of a safety net for him. He can lose a couple of games here. People aren't going to go crazy about the team. That's why it's important. But as far as the win and loss goes, Gesicki dropped the ball in the end zone, should have been a catch. They were walking in for a touchdown, fumble at the 1 yard line, another fumble on a special teams play. Brissett like Brissett. I wouldn't change anything as a Patriots perspective other than there's no hot seat for Mayo. He's gained a couple of weeks of leverage here to be able to lose some games without people going crazy. That's why the Patriots game was important. But I wouldn't change their win. I wouldn't go chasing them. I'm not thrilled to bet them even as a home dog this weekend. They have major issues. Their offensive line still stinks. It's still a rookie coach, and it's still Brissett.
Yeah.
So I cannot go crazy about the one win. It does help Mayo in the short term. People won't go nuts about him starting the year 0-8. So that's out the window now.
That is out the window now. And it's nothing better right now for people who talk about the Patriots on a day-to-day basis. If it's for clicks, for listens, or whatever else. My God. I mean, they were supposed to lose that game. They were supposed to get destroyed. It was supposed to just fall into this narrative. And now it's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm disappointing people each week here. Rhett Winter is another one here, Mud. I'm sorry. This is what's you should have known better to associate yourself with me.
Why? I like the fact that you're disliked. I'm a little surprised you're this reactive to the chat. You seem a little locked in right now. Little locked in right
Wait
now.
a second. You scolded me last week because I didn't put anything up here as far as the chat, right? Like you didn't say anything. You didn't put any chats up there. You didn't do anything up there. And now I'm being accused of staring at the chat, of doing all this, of being too chat heavy. Okay. I see what it is. I offered to pay for somebody's dinner last week, and everybody just left.
There are people here tonight that are saying they want to get their dinner paid for. So
I got a dinner. I told you I got dinner and drinks for a couple.
People already raising their hands saying free dinner.
Yeah.
Let's get excited here.
I'm such an evil person. I just like to give.
You mentioned your ego. This is a non-betting topic, and we got tons of best bets. We got Bomber Brad. That game on Friday with your team involved, I'm with you. Take nothing from the game because the field sucked, and the NFL should be embarrassed to keep trying to internationalize the game and play these games here. It was not a fair footing, and what a money grab, Atom, by the NFL to put that game there, and just because they're trying to get the international style there and put the players on that field. That was atrocious to watch. I was an Eagles fan in Philadelphia, watching with you, listen to WIP. Like, I would be pissed the NFL put my team in that spot where guys could have been hurt in that game, and guys were getting hurt in that game. Jordan Love might have been hurt because of the field there in Brazil.
It was an embarrassment. I don't know how they didn't think this through. It's hard to think that they did it. There's so much money tied into the NFL. What's more likely to happen in a situation like this, and really just copy and paste it, is that the NFL, with so much access and money and time to research and vet stuff, missed something? Or is it that they simply said, who gives a shit? We're the NFL. People are going to watch if they're getting hurt, if the field is spiked up. It's a soccer field. You can't put mass human beings on a soccer field. You can't even put A.J. Brown like that on the soccer field. So it was bad. It was rough. And I felt for the first time, I really felt like, you're right. If you're watching from one of the Green Bay or Philadelphia markets, you were ripped. Like, give me London, give me Mexico City, Buenos Aires, like, come on.
Well, again, it's just another instance of them putting money ahead of the quality of play, safety of players. The players are upset going in. They're upset going out. They have a right to be. The other two local teams we talk about here on this show, because they're within driving distance here, Mohegan Suns, FanDuel Sportsbook, the Giants and the Jets. I'm not surprised the Giants were terrible. My Brian Daboll Coach of the Year pick, you can rip those tickets up. That's not going to happen. That was probably worse than my Carolina idea. The Jets look a little lifeless there. No Christian McCaffrey on Monday. I know you kind of lean towards the Jets in that game. I have no excuse other than like maybe we overrated the Jets and maybe, just maybe, they're not as good as advertised, and maybe Robert Saleh on the first week of the year starting to feel a little pressure because that team's better than they looked on Monday night.
I think the Jets' inability to stop the run was
brutal.
Probably the most ridiculous, and that killed you. Like, that kills you, right? There was no way you were going to cover that game. There was just nothing at all that was going to work. Aaron Rodgers, what's the deal here? Like, what's the deal with this guy right now? As far as, this is clearly a departure from what we've seen. So now all of a sudden there's no saving the day, right? This guy's not stepping in and saving you if you need it because your team can't stop the run. Breece Hall's not coming in and dominating. This Jets team, I think, went from horribly underrated to ridiculously overrated in a week.
I would agree. There were some lifeless elements to that game from the Jets, and a coach who looked, I would say, as rattled as you've looked at times looking at the chat. It was a rattled coach there on Monday. Shanahan was ready to go. Backup running back, 7th-round quarterback. It did not matter. I think San Fran should not look that good. The Jets had all offseason. Saleh coached there, and they still weren't ready. It's the same old Jets bullcrap, and I bought into it. I thought they were going to make this deep run. I thought with Rodgers back and healthy and Lazard in the mix, they might be that team. Another thing add to the list of things I'm wrong about, it might have been the Jets being a deep playoff team in 2024.
Man, Brian Daboll, Coach of the Year, is going to be something we need to come back to each week.
No. That audio, we deleted that audio. Does not exist. It's not even available to anybody. We are here at Mohegan Sun Sportsbook. It is Sportsbook Live, Mutt and Aton until 7 o'clock tonight. If you're within listening distance, you can get here to the beautiful Sportsbook at Mohegan Sun before 7 o'clock. Every $10 wager you make, any $10 wager you make, can qualify you for a $50 betting voucher at 7 o'clock and a pair of Patriots tickets. What's that thing you do sometimes with MLB picks? Give me two. Do the Utah thing.
Give me two.
Utah, give me two. 2 Patriots Seahawks tickets. All you have to do is come in here before 7 o'clock and bet $10, and you are qualified. You also qualify for a grand prize at the end of the year, which is so good I can't tell you what it is right now. We're still crossing T's and dotting I's. So I apologize. Big market tease next Thursday or on social media before that. We'll be able to let you know. Meanwhile, you're ready for a 30-second break here to tell our friends about Mohegan Sun?
Ready to fire.
We will come back and do some overarching thoughts. I have more awards bets that I fired this week that you'll probably mock. And I have to take an L. I said Tom Brady would be good. He was not good. We'll talk about that in 30 seconds. Mohegan Sun Sportsbook Live.
Who's in for Mohegan? Obviously everyone. We're off to the races. A moment of calm before the dark and stormy. High score, dance floor. Apps, crafts, and nightcaps? Then it's down for the thread count to start it all again tomorrow. This is how it feels when you're all in for Mohegan. Mohegan Sun.
This football season, take in every epic moment on the largest HD video wall in the Northeast at the Mohegan Sun FanDuel Sportsbook.
Look at that.
We are here. Excellent job. Sportsbook Live, Mohegan Sun. Mutt and Aton. Bomber Brad is here. He gave out NIU. I thought as a big upset pick last week. They were getting 28 points. He got some pushback on social media. I will let Bomber defend himself here in about 10 minutes. Because people
what was the pushback?
Well, that he didn't give it out as a money line pick. That he said he would take NIU plus 28. And so, a very popular figure, one of the biggest in sports media, Dan Katz, Barstool Big Cat, said you can't call yourself the Bomber if you give it out plus 28. But I have a defensive Bomber, but I'll let him defend himself. He has 2 more picks for us tonight. He will join us in about 10 minutes from now. And I will tell you ahead of time, if you like what he's wearing last week, you're going to love what he's wearing this week.
All right.
I thought Tom Brady was going to be good. I'm curious what you thought. 425, Dallas and Cleveland, big spot on Fox. It's, I'm forgetting his co-host name already, with Tom Brady on TV. What'd you think of TB12 in a big spot there on Sunday?
He doesn't do much.
Welcome back to the Big House, Texas, all over Michigan. 24-3 here at half. Well, welcome upstairs to the booth here at Michigan, and I want to welcome in Tom Brady from his booth for the first time in
Brady.
Cleveland. Tom Brady,
Here, now,
new Fox NFL.
That's Brady and Joel Klatt right there. I was giving
Yes,
you a
that
little,
was. I'm sorry. That was the pregame on Saturday, right during the Michigan game.
yeah,
Terrible. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bud.
yeah. So you had a little bit of that there. I just don't think that he's good. I don't. And certain guys come in there and you can tell right away. You give them some time, you let them groom. Other guys are just built for it. They're built for the conversation of that's what I look for, is the conversation of the broadcast, and also being able to tell me something I didn't know. And that's hard, because the idea of regular football broadcasts are to completely LCD this and get the average Super Bowl viewer, not the average football viewer.
I got to stop you. I'm a moron. What does LCD this mean?
Lowest common denominator.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Like sports talk radio. I got you. Like what I've done for
you. And I did that for decades. And that's the stain on my shirt, is sports talk radio. It's not coffee that my son spilled by any means. But
you know what that means.
I don't have much. Like Tom, I'm not racing. But here's the other thing too. Screw Tom Brady. All right. Like I grew up hating that guy. I grew up watching my team beat him in the Super Bowl. All right. The Philly special. You want Philly? Let's do it. That's what I grew up in. So what am I racing to the TV set to? Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch Tom Brady. That wasn't me. Now, maybe I'm watching it from a hater's eye, Mutt, but I'm willing to at least accept the fact that I'm watching it from, and at least admit the fact that I was watching it from a hater's eye.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I love the guy. He can do no wrong.
He won you 50 championships.
Like I bought the TB12. It might have been gifted. No, I bought it. I bought the TB12 book when it came out. Like I did the TB12 diet. Like I was using the protein, the stuff that he did. I was like a band guy for a while. Let's get the bands going like Tom Brady. Like I have been all Tom Brady, everything. I thought he was going to be awesome in this spot. He was terrible. And to your point, Kevin Burkhardt, his teammate, I tried to interview him way too much. I thought he was like too formal. I thought he was getting Tom Brady, like trying to tee him up and put the ball in a tee for him. It's got to be more loose. Like we know Brady's the guy on the roast. He's going to the Derby events. He's drinking. He's betting horses. He dated Tara Reid. Like that's in him. There's something in there where he's a conversational guy. That guy did not exist in that spot on Sunday, but I'm putting some of the blame on Kevin Burkhardt. Because Kevin Burkhardt was too serious in that spot. He interviewed him. Like I did a show with Lou Merloni for a bunch of years in middays at EEI. The show failed out. And one of the reasons why, because I interviewed Lou like he was like an expert on baseball instead of just having a conversation. That's what Burkhardt did in that spot. That's what Burkhardt did to Brady. He's got to loosen it up. Got to loosen it up.
Listen. You gotta stop here, because now you're gonna blame a local Philly guy. Local Delaware Valley guy.
Your Philly guy, sure, defend him.
Exactly. That's what this is. It's you looking at a backdoor way to throw what I just threw at Brady as a Philadelphia sports fan back in my face and say that Kevin Burkhardt wasn't qualified enough to hold the candle or chalice or whatever it is to sit next to Tom Brady for an NFL broadcast. Get over yourselves, Patriots fans. My God.
Here's my hope, though. Like when Romo came on the scene, you remember, like Romo came on. I would love Romo. He was the best. He's calling out plays and he's terrific. But Romo read those accolades, and I don't know if he saw. I didn't sell out, but he's now like a caricature. He's doing the oohs and ahs and gyms.
Yep.
My hope is that Brady set the bar so low, like we did with the show last week. It can only get better. It can only get better for Brady. So I'm still hopeful that he doesn't want to embarrass himself.
I thought you meant for us. I was going to stop you.
But I do hope that I do have hope that Brady does get better and does the opposite of Romo. Romo started up here and fell down. I think Brady's going to flip it. So I am hopeful that Tom Brady is able to turn it around. It sounds like you are saying no shot. You're saying you're out on Brady altogether.
Yes, at the moment I am. If I'm wrong, I'll be proven wrong. If the guy wins an Emmy or whatever the hell the award is for best broadcaster, then I'll gladly say I'm wrong. Do you have a problem with Romo calling out the plays? Like, do you have a problem with that?
It's annoying. It's annoying.
Why?
Because I just want to watch the game.
Yeah, but that's past. If you're listening to two people talk to you about what's happening to a football game, you are well past just wanting to watch the game. Watch it on mute.
I'm probably going to watch it anyway. Because you know what? I think it became like his crutch. And then once he didn't get a couple of right, he stopped doing it. So I think that and the sound effects that his body makes, the oohs and the ahs and the GMs like that, it's not for me. Meanwhile, he was hitting on it. He was hitting against Brady on was it a CBS game?
Right.
A bad regional game. That was a wild move.
You said what was it? The oohs, the sounds he's making.
GM, ooh, GM, ooh, I don't know. Like that's what he does now.
That's pretty annoying.
We can do some of that from Brady though. Brady yawning in the first half that was not a good sign.
Well, did you? So I'm glad you brought that up. Do you remember? I don't know if you guys even saw this. I don't know how viral it went. I'm sure. Look, of all people that catch stuff like Barstool and others, I'm sure Awful Announcing, I'm sure had this. But there was a former basketball player, Eric Snow. He played for the Sixers. I think he went to Michigan State, right?
John Respert and Eric Snow, fire and ice. Give me a break.
There you go. There you go. See? Beautiful. I knew I could bring this up. So Eric Snow was doing a game with Mark Zumoff. They were doing a Sixers game. And this was during like the process where the team was just dog shit. They were losing and all this. And Eric Snow fell asleep on the air in the broadcast.
What?
And it was some of the most awkward stuff you'll hear. It was like 15, 20 seconds of awkwardness. And he fell asleep on the broadcast. And I thought of that immediately with that yawn. Just insane.
It was a bad look for Brady. Any hope for any of the teams that lost? I mean, you were texting me saying, some lucky winners, tough luck losers. Like, we understand that in the week 1 to week 2, I'm going to overreact. You're going to overreact. It's overreaction week. Underdogs do very well in week 2. I've seen a lot of the experts just going all in. They're pushing all their chips in on dogs this week. Any hope for teams that lost in week 1 that you feel like are still going to be in the mix for something big? And any teams you saw in week 1 win, like, again, the Patriots, very lucky winners, no faith in them. And any of those teams fit for you and might affect your betting here, not just week 2, but going forward the rest of the season?
Yeah, we're going to talk about them in depth, right? Because Bomber's going to come up with us, and then we're going to get into some actual picks for Thursday Night Football as well. Look, there are going to be 2 teams. They're both at home, and they're both getting at least 3, if not more, in their respective football games. And I'm going to go right back to, and another that I'm going to go to. And I think that there is a lot of overreaction for 2 different reasons, but I think there's a lot of overreaction to what happened with these 2 teams losing their opening week 1 game and then now being home dogs again of at least 3.5 points, if not more, depending on where you're looking. So, yeah, that's where I'm looking to attack home dogs in that 3.5 plus range and try to identify, all right, that's a massive overreaction to whatever the variable is.
And I'll get you the number coming up with Bomber. Underdogs in week 2 have done very, very well. Last 3 years, I think 40-17 are underdogs has 6 or fewer points in week number 2. That is a tremendous winning percentage. I know you like one side in this game, which we'll get to coming up. But overall on Cincinnati, because I think that was one of the teams we saw in week 1. They lose to the Patriots. They were ticketed by a lot of people to make another AFC run, right? Even before the T. Higgins hamstring injury, before Jamar Chase looked very rusty in week 1, like Joe Burrow, the Bengals, they could challenge the Ravens. They could challenge Kansas City. They could challenge Buffalo in the AFC. Am I overreacting by saying it didn't feel like in week 1, watching that game intently as a Patriots fan, that was one of those real contenders? Because I'm trying not to overreact them as a talent team that's considered one of the Final 4 teams of the AFC, but they kind of look lifeless in that game. Talk about the Jets on Monday. I thought Cincinnati looked lifeless, and I know people are picking them and taking them plus 5.5 this week. What do you think? Any big takeaways from them? And are they still a contender in your mind after falling flat? Biggest upset of the week was them losing the Patriots. Are they still in the mix of the AFC?
Joe Burrow was hurt, right? Isn't that the biggest takeaway?
The Gatorade thing on the sideline. Good point. Yeah.
Right, like whether or not you believe that, if that's AI or if that's a hologram, whatever the latest conspiracy is, right? Well,
I don't think so.
AI generated. That really wasn't Joe Burrow, right? Like, I don't know what the conspiracy is, but the guy's hurt. This team is not good. Look, you watched it, all right? That was your team that went up there and just destroyed them. There were times in which Burrow and that offense had chances to just start a drive and move the ball down the field. Hell, even after their touchdown, right, when they scored, you're thinking like, okay, this was a disaster, an unmitigated disaster that, especially with a hurt quarterback, I don't know how it gets better this week. Well, again, that's a game that I absolutely love, and I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going, but come on. That's that is a major issue if this guy is hurt again this year.
All right, so I gave you some awards last week, and I want to update those real quickly. Okay, I gave you Jared Goff. I gave the people watching, people at Mohegan Sun, I gave you Jared Goff MVP 25-1. He is down to 18-1 for MVP. So there's been money coming in, smart money, my money. Jared Goff played well in week 1. He'll play well going forward. He's a candidate. Dan Campbell, weird coaching market. He was 20-1 last week. He's 16-1 in one market. He's not listed in a separate market. Not sure why. Here's the award bet I made this week, and I want to run by you. So Puka Nacua went down for the Rams. Cooper Kupp looked like the old Cooper Kupp. He had 21 freaking targets. He had 14 catches. By the way, his 21 targets, the second most was 12 in the NFL this week. I jumped in at 20-1 on Cooper Kupp, Offensive Player of the Year, after what I saw in week 1. Would you have, if I texted you, would you have split that bet with me? Talk me off that bet. Cooper Kupp, 20-1 Offensive Player of the Year.
I would have told you to take it at 20-1, knowing that we should get some decent CLV if you like that, if you're into that stuff, but ultimately prepare you for a letdown. Like maybe you want to cash out at 10-1, depending on what happens throughout the year. But I don't think there's a difference, right? Like you're asking me, would I accept that price? And that's something we can talk to Bomber about, right? Like buying a price as opposed to playing a side. And I think buying that price at 20-1 makes sense. Saying Cooper Kupp is a lock for winning Offensive Player of the Year, not so much.
No, it's definitely not a lock. I just thought if he's going to be, let's say Puka Nacua, it says 4 weeks out, he's going to be out. I think Sean McVay said today could be longer. Matt Stafford relies on that guy. All he's going to do is pepper him with targets, million catches, million yards. We know the offense is going to be good. They go against the Arizona defense this week that could not stop Buffalo really at all last week. 32nd DVOA defensively after week 1 of the season. 20-1, I felt like it's a fair price. Not a lock by any means, but if it's available out there, I'd say go look at that for a couple little pizza money on Cooper Kupp. I see in the chat that people want the Bomber. Bomber is here. We are here at Mohegan Sun's FanDuel Sportsbook. If you are within the area, you got 30 minutes to come down, make a $10 bet on sports, $10 bet on sports, and guess what you get? Chance to win a $50 voucher and Patriots Seahawks tickets for Sunday. It's a late add to the mix. We're going to do giveaways every single week here on Thursday night, leading to Thursday Night Football. $50 voucher every week. Pats tickets today, and you qualify for the grand prize, which is so good I can't tell you what it is, but hopefully in the next couple of days. We'll talk to Bomber in 30 seconds here. Mohegan Sun Sportsbook Live. Don't go anywhere.
Who's in for Mohegan? Obviously, everyone. We're off to the races. A moment of calm before the dark and stormy. High score, dance floor. Apps, crafts, and nightcaps? Then it's down for the thread count to start it all again tomorrow. This is how it feels when you're all in for Mohegan. Mohegan Sun.
This football season, take in every epic moment on the largest HD video wall in the Northeast at the Mohegan Sun FanDuel Sportsbook.
What do you say? Look at that. That jersey, man.
He's wearing it again. It's Tony Romo. Let's turn this thing here, Bomber. Get a little closer, Bomber. Let's get close here. Bomber, what's going on? The people say talking to the mic this week.
They told me I wasn't close enough to the mic last week.
Do we need a longer commercial? Is that what you're telling me, Mutt? I mean, all Bomber has to do is sit down. It's on you to corral him, have a mark, all of this. Come on.
He's over there on his phone. He's texting away.
Oh, now you're blaming him.
Yes, I'm blaming him. He should be ready to go. What are you doing over there?
I'm getting last-minute information for my picks before I give them out.
Right.
See if anything's changed.
The Bomber Brad is joining us
super
here.
chat, by the way. £2 from PM. Does Mutt owe money to the Mohegan Casino? See, super chat, we have to read it no matter what because it's money that they're paying.
Thank you for the super chat. This has been a couple internet things this week, Bomber. Okay. Number one is, do I owe Mohegan Sun and the great people here? Do I owe them? Give me honest. Do I owe them money? Is that why I'm doing this show?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so that's not a no.
He's not paying off a debt. Do I owe Mohegan Sun? Is that why I'm doing this show?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Number two, Bomber. There are a lot of people, including Dan Katz of Barstool Sports, who are being critical of your nickname, the Bomber, because you gave out Northern Illinois plus 28 but did not get them out on the money line. Do you want to respond to the people criticizing you for not taking him on the money line and the Bomber saying plus 28 against Notre Dame?
No, I don't want to respond. I mean, it was a winner. It was an easy winner. And I'm not going to tell somebody to do a money line on a game like that and them go crazy, because I know what'll happen. They'll play them on the money line and they won't take the plus 28, and then they'll be complaining because they didn't win out right. So listen, we had a great winner, easy winner.
Easy.
Take it, be happy. There'll be plenty of money lines, and those dang money lines are so hard to hit anyway. You don't want to waste the money on a 28 to 1 underdog.
No,
Or,
listen, what I would point out, Eitan, maybe you would agree. If you called me or Bomber called me and you said, I like this 4-touchdown dog, I'm going to bet it. I'm also going to sprinkle money line. That should be self-explanatory. If you call me and tell me like a 30-1 horse, I'm going to bet the horse to win, but I'm going to play him across the board. That's on you, Dan. That's on you, the audience, for not playing the money line on Northern Illinois. He gave you plus 28. You play the money line on that. That's on you. That's on you.
Look, are you tracking your bets? Like, are you going bet by bet and seeing what you're doing? Because you start to sprinkle on every single underdog at 25 to 1. You're going to look at your profit level is just going to go down, because think about that. Now, Grant, you have to hit 1 and then you go back to even, but think about how often you'll have to hit those to compensate for the fact that you have to hit the spread. And then on top of that, that's just to make some profit because you're putting a quarter unit on it. Not for me, but I get what you're saying.
I thought it was a great pick. It was a winner. It was
a fantastic pick. Absolutely.
Tremendous pick.
I think you bring up a great point. You have an easy winner. You're going to cash. Why throw money away on a money line that, listen, we're all shocked that they won. I didn't expect them to win. I'm not going to lie.
And your pick was more anti-Notre Dame than pro.
It was. It wasn't on Northern Illinois. I didn't know if they could play with that team. It was just a pick against Notre Dame is what it ended up being. So we had an easy winner. Let's take it. I'll give you a couple money lines this week. We'll be okay.
Okay. Your thoughts on week 1, NFL. You told us, you didn't say not to bet, but you said don't go crazy in week 1. I love that advice. Bomber Brad comes out here. He's not some sort of tout telling you to fire away. He is here to give you sage sports betting advice. He's worked behind the counter. He's worked at tracks 25, 30 years. He's a veteran of the game. He's still standing. Week 1, good teams, bad teams. How do you want to react to what you saw?
Well, I think like we said last week, you can't overreact. But I think in my mind, I've got two solid choices. I think Carolina is by far the worst team in the NFL. I don't think anybody's even close.
So the team that I picked last week on the show, on your show. Sorry.
And we'll talk about them when we do picks. But
that team.
Yeah. So don't overreact on the Saints.
Okay.
I still think the Saints organization has kind of been a mess ever since the owner of the Saints passed away. Peyton left. I just think they're in a mess. So don't overreact there. I think the Giants may actually be the second worst team in the NFL.
Really?
I don't like Daboll as the coach. I don't think Daniel Jones is the quarterback, or he's not fitting into the scheme. But I think they very possibly could be the second worst team in the NFL.
And again, I told people to bet Daboll Coach of the Year. That was a disastrous pick on the show. Let's delete that audio.
Brutal.
Are you in the same camp? Eitan and I both think that you want underdogs in week 2 in the NFL is the way to go because of that overreaction. Is that something you've seen, in your days of doing this, where you can get these dogs and get them a little bit inflated because of what happened in week 1?
Absolutely. And one of my picks is definitely that reason, and that's what I'm doing. You definitely want to look at home dogs, but you definitely want to look at teams to reverse trend. The ones that won in week 1, you definitely want to look to play against them in week 2. And vice versa. Some of the teams that didn't, Carolina, I don't know how we ever play them, even though they may be a play this week. I think you have to look at teams that lost to come back and win. But I still think you got to wait a couple weeks. There's still just too many unknowns out there right now to be going crazy.
I got to ask you, Bomber, because how much of that same mentality do you apply now with 2.5 weeks, if you look at it in college, knowing that people start to feel, right, like, oh, okay, I got a feel of this team. They've played 2 weeks, or they've maybe played week 0. So how do you avoid that similar trap, I guess, in college football with an extra week under our belt?
I think you have to be careful, too, in that respect. I think in my mind, today, as I'm looking again, I think you need about one more week for college football. The issue there is you've got a team, let's say, like LSU that went and played USC. Then the second week they go play some, I believe, Nicholls State or somebody. So most of the teams, that's what's happened. So unless you've got a team that really played 2 good teams for the first 2 games, I think you have to wait another week, maybe even 4 weeks. We haven't even got into really conference play yet. So I wouldn't get out on a limb in college. I think we're getting closer, but I definitely don't think we can get out there. I think it has to be more plays against a team like I did last week. And I've actually got to play this week the same thing. I'm playing against a team versus on a team.
Okay.
And I think it's what you have to look for this time of year.
Eitan mentioned before CLV, closing line value. What is your approach in terms of when to bet and your in terms of finding your price? You a bet early guy? Do you want to bet late? Like what would you advise people? Is because the lines come out earlier than ever. Like Sunday night, all of a sudden these books, including FanDuel, the lines are out for week 2. They're out for week 3. There's look ahead lines. Like what is your advice to people when they should be betting and their approach to how they find their best price?
Well, I think you have to, whether you bet on Monday or not, or when the lines come out, you have to start on looking at them at that point. If I'm going to play an underdog and the game comes out and it's like 18-19, I'm probably going to take that because I don't want it to move down below 17 and then I get stuck with a bad number.
Yep.
I don't play a lot of favorites, but if a game comes out and I'm going to get to lay less than 7 on a team, I'm probably going to take that. Sometimes I won't get good closing line value, but I don't want to be laying a bad number at 7. I got to get under those key numbers like that. So I think you have to start looking on Monday. If you wait till Wednesday or Thursday, I think you waited too late. And even if you start on Mondays, you're still going to miss some of them. You're still going to be on the wrong side as far as the way the line moves, but you have to start early in the week.
Yeah, Tom, is that how you approach it? I mean, you're doing shows every single day. I'm curious, are you looking at stuff right away? Are you jumping in away knowing that number might change as you're making your bets?
I usually have my best success looking Sunday night and trying to just bet lines, and I'm betting numbers. I'm looking at a 7.5 and thinking, all right, is that dog going to be 7, possibly 6.5 with 6 still being a key number here. It's hard to move through 7, right? Or just, that's what 3.5, right? Trying to move off those numbers. 14 is another one that I'll look at more than 10, right? So 7, 6, really it starts with 3, 7, 6, 14, and then 10. So Sunday night, it's not like, oh, this team got killed and I'm going to look to, it's more just like, where are these opening numbers? But I will say this, and this is why I think it's really great to have someone like Bomber on here with us. I've seen sharp people that I've tailed for a while, people that are doing this for a living, far more successful than like I am, look at it and say, yeah, I recognize CLV and I recognize looking at it as far as the opening line, but they say that the closing line, that betting Sunday can actually be more efficient than betting ahead of time because the market has already worked its way out. And if you have an edge, chances are that won't be worked out in the market. It's hard because you have to sit on your hands for 5, 6, maybe like 5 or 6 days. But that's kind of the competing line of view, I guess, if you look at it.
All right, there's a major event here on Saturday in the Mohegan Sun FanDuel Sportsbook. I want to get to that. But first, let's tell people what the picks are. Okay, you're the Bomber. You are 1-0 on this show. You gave us Northern Illinois last week, plus 28. You say you got 2 picks this week. What do you have for the people watching on YouTube here in the Mohegan Sun FanDuel Sportsbook?
So we got 2 picks this week. In college, we're going to go with the South Carolina Gamecocks against the LSU Fighting Tigers. That's more of a play against LSU. Make sure you take +7. Right now, there's a lot of 6.5 out there. I would suggest buying it up a half a point to get the +7. I would do a little sprinkle on the money line on that one too. South Carolina at home. So I do like that one. That's an anti-play too. Like Brian Kelly just finds a way to lose games. I don't get it. He just finds a way to lose games. They got to go on the road. So let's see what happens there. In the NFL, let's go with the Denver Broncos +3 at home. So definitely home dog there. Yeah. And I had that line pick. So I just think I'm getting 3 points to the better of it. So I actually like Denver in that spot. I'll take them plus the points and a money line in there. And real quick, not a pick. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of trends that point toward Carolina. If you can hold your nose and play Carolina, but there are a lot of trends that point. One of them, I believe, is team coming off a 35-point blowout, coming home getting points. I think it's hitting in the 70-something range, but it's hard to play them, but they probably are a play.
But you just told me they're the worst team in the NFL.
But it's like mud. It's like going to Saratoga. If I didn't play good bad jockeys, I would never make a bet, right? So, it just sometimes you have to hold your nose and play it, and it is what it is. It's a play, but it's tough. But Carolina probably is the right side of that.
All right, South Carolina 6.5, buy it up to 7. Denver is 2.5 in some
places.
places.
Wait a second, real quick. Can we just take them at plus 130 at this point instead of what is the 2.5? I know you have them at a pick 'em, so any points are points, but with that key number at 3, do we really gain anything with 2.5 as opposed to just taking them on the money line?
No, not at 2.5. I would definitely take the 3. I would.
Sure.
It comes back to what you said earlier. I just hate to see something happen and they lose by 2, and you don't. You got to have a little bit of side action, but I definitely want the 3. Yeah,
I'm a little surprised this has moved through 3.
Yeah, that's been sitting at 3 most of the week. I think even a couple hours ago, it was sitting there, and now down to 2.5. The Bombers on Denver. He's on South Carolina. So 1 college, 1 NFL. This place was jamming on Thursday. Friday night, Eagles fans were in here. Jets fans on Monday. Saturday, it is UFC. You are known for the events you put on for the UFC. What do you have going on here Saturday night?
Well, we've got 2 big events going on Saturday night. We got UFC 306. O'Malley is fighting in the main card, so we'll be just packed with that. We also have the Canelo fight, I believe, as well that night. So we've got a couple of drawings as well. We're going to be giving away 2 UFC logoed cornhole boards and a $250 food and beverage credit in the Racing Sportsbook. And then the second drawing will also be a UFC logoed backpack, and we're giving away a $250 wager with that. So you definitely want to come down. Reservations are filled up. Go to MoheganSun.com, click on the sports book. You can book your reservation there. Come hang out with us. It's a sight to see with these UFC events. It really is.
They've had these after the Derby events we've done here, and the place is absolutely jammed. It's a great place to watch it. The energy is awesome. Check it out, MoheganSun.com, and get yourself down here for the UFC. And thank you, Bomber. You provided not only a giveaway for people tonight, any $10 bet between now and 7 o'clock, a chance to win a $50 voucher right at 7, and couple of Pat Seahawks tickets.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime. We love it. It's an experience here at Mohegan. So come down and take part. You won't be disappointed.
Any other Cowboys jersey we can see besides the Romo?
No,
is there like
not until they lose.
Is that really
I brought this just for you.
Oh, look at that.
Cut him off.
Okay.
And the producer cut him off.
We would all like to. Unfortunately, he's the producer.
Yeah.
So there we go. This is what people want to see.
That's what That's what it should have been my whole segment. Who's this other guy?
Bomber Brad Bryant, Mohegan Sun Sportsbook. A final, very brief 30-second break. Best bets and picks for Thursday night football. Don't go anywhere.
Who's in for Mohegan? Obviously, everyone. We're off to the races. A moment of calm before the dark and stormy. High score, dance floor. Apps, crafts, and nightcaps? Then it's down for the thread count to start it all again tomorrow. This is how it feels when you're all in for Mohegan. Mohegan Sun.
This football season, take in every epic moment on the largest HD video wall in the Northeast at the Mohegan Sun FanDuel Sportsbook.
All right, final couple of minutes here. Mohegan Sun FanDuel Sportsbook. It is Sportsbook Live here every Thursday, 6 until 7. Qualifying bets, $10 any sports bet qualifies you for a weekly prize, and a grand prize we'll give away, I believe, on November 7th. We'll put you on the spot again. Will you be here that day or any day? I see people have been kind of looking around. Is Eitan here? No, they watch the big screen next to us. They can see your big head, your big shaved head. Are you committing to making a show, making it here for a show? Maybe that last show we do the grand prize giveaway.
The only way I'm going to make this show is if I'm on. Who does the pregame video? Right?
Sean does that. Yeah, you can do it. Sure.
Right.
I'm terrible at it. They put the camera. I have no idea what I'm saying.
No. Like somebody is filming you. Is it somebody on Kirk's show, on Dave's show? Like somebody is doing a pregame. This is what the scene is. I don't know if it's recon.
Tonight it's Justin Trudell, one of Kirk's producers. Thank you, Justin.
Okay.
And he brought his toy bear, which is sad.
I just want to hang with Justin and do one of those videos if I can. Otherwise, there's no point of me coming, right?
If you guys go to Hooters, you should drive home, is my only advice to you. Meanwhile, we have best bets to give away. I was 2-1 last week.
Eat at Mohegan. That's all.
I'm just saying, if you here, we're all set. Just if you end up at Hooters with him, you should drive. I was 2-1. You really don't know what I thought you would have your own record. Oh, we keep track of that stuff.
We will. I didn't. I have it this week. I just, I was too busy on the chat.
That is confirmed. Again, favorites last week did very well. 13-3 straight up, 9-7 against the spread, 9-7 to the under. Week 2 traditionally plays the under. Dogs of 6 or fewer, 40-17 the last 3 years. So my pick is I'm going to do a total, a side, a total, and a prop on the show. You've got a bunch to give away. I will start with my favorite bet here is the total. And admittedly, this thing was moved around a little bit, but I want the under of 46.5, the 49ers and the Vikings. I was smoked by betting the under on Monday night, but I'm happy to bet the under again here today. Minnesota and San Francisco, 46.5 right now over on FanDuel Sportsbook. The 49ers want to play slow, one of the slowest teams in the NFL last year. Week 1, they were the 3rd slowest team in the league. The Vikings are no hurry because Sam Darnold's back there at quarterback. They were the 12th slowest team in the NFL Week 1. They both ran the ball. Talk about teams running the ball, Eitan. Both ran the ball over 50% of their plays in Week 1. That can help the under by running the clock. It's also a matchup of the 4th and 8th best defenses Week 1 in the NFL, according to DVOA. So 2 teams that want to play slow, 2 teams that want to run, 2 teams that have pretty good defenses. Sounds like an under to me. My favorite bet of the week is under 46.5 Minnesota and 49ers.
All right, no issue there. I wish I could push back, but I think you're right, especially coming on the short week here for San Fran.
That helps too. I forgot about that. And no CMC. McCaffrey also out for this game.
Exactly. Not that it matters, but I get what you're saying as far as they're not moving away from the run. Brock Purdy's not going to throw or at least complete 25, 30 passes. That's just not in his MO. So give me the Titans here plus 3.5. I got them at 4. Actually, I think they were at 4.5 initially. Yeah, 4 on September 10th. Look, if you watch last week, outside of Will Levis, who was the clear anomaly, the Titans were owning Chicago. And they did that inside the box. They did that inside the tackles. This was a game in which the Titans were dominating. And that's the stuff that I look for a team that loses one week and carries over. It's not like Cincinnati was just punching New England in the mouth, drive after drive, and fumble here, a mistake here. It cost them the football game. Will Levis, if you did not know anything about the NFL outside of the basic rules, you didn't know anything more than that, and you just sat down, I bet you, Mike, I bet you have a friend who just casually knows the game and probably saw those highlights and asked you, was that game fixed? I'm not saying it was, but I mean, like, that's the level of pathetic performance that you got from Will Levis. Anything marginally better this week, the Titans are fine around him. The Jets come off a physical short week against the Niners. They're going to be banged up. We saw how much that you can run on this Jets defense. The Titans are going to run on them. I'll take them with points.
Would be my 4th pick. The also receiving votes for me. I would be with you on the Titans. I will not push back. My underdog is going to be the Rams at the Cardinals. I had it at 1.5. We still at 1.5 there on FanDuel. Can we go down to Rams? I will gladly take the 1.5, juiced up a little bit to minus 115. It's an underdog week. Again, last 3 seasons, dogs of 6 or less, 40-17 against the spread in week 2. I'm happy to do it. Cardinals defense was terrible. Dead last DVOA last week. Dead last against the pass. Josh Allen didn't throw a lot. He completed 80% of his passes, 10 yards per attempt. He carved them up. The Rams should do it as well. Cooper Kupp, I mentioned him earlier, looked elite in week 1, 14 catches on a ridiculous 21 targets. I guess the market has moved. This thing is flipped because Nakua is not going to play. I don't care. Marcus Robinson, he's a fine fill-in. Stafford has taken guys like Tutu Atwell and made them legit receivers there with the Rams. Couple of trends I'm leaning on. Sean McVay, 27-17-1 against the spread against
like it.
12-2-1 against the spread against Arizona. Kyler Murray, 9 career games against the Rams, 1-8. Give me the slight dog. I'd probably just play the money line anyway. In fact, give me the money line, plus 102 there. Give me the Rams outright on the road at Arizona for the win.
No problem with that. I think Arizona had a shot. Interesting to see how they bounce back, if at all, from that game in which they just gave away to Buffalo. It's inexcusable to lose that lead the way in which they did, especially in that opener with that much time. So I'm with you so far. No real pushback. We talked about this earlier. Anything under 6 is a play here for me. And I don't know what you're looking at from Cincinnati if you disagree with this. Nobody, Jamar Chase or anybody else that doesn't play the quarterback position is going to make that big of an influence here. And while New England, it wasn't even so much that they were constantly putting pressure or that Joe Burrow was under duress. It's that he will be now even more so against Spags in this Chiefs defense. There are going to be efforts to get to him because they know that he's not right. Cincinnati isn't right. And all the Chiefs do in September is go out there with Reed and Mahomes and pace themselves, but handle their business. I'm not worried about ATS records with spread 6 or less. I think you look at what is going on with Cincinnati. That's not a lock by any means. You're going on with Cincinnati. They're in trouble. So I'll take the Chiefs to pounce on them as the Bengals start 0-2 and lose this game by a touchdown.
It feels a little trappish because you're getting them under a touchdown at home against a team that didn't look good. I'm actually with you. This will be on my list. I think that if you want to use the Chiefs early in the survivor pool, I would not be crazy with that. Although I probably prefer Houston on Sunday night in a survivor pool against the Bears. But I'm with you here. I love player props. I play player props every week. If you go to the player props here on FanDuel, if you go to the Saints game, like I don't understand this. I don't understand with the Saints. So Kendry Miller is out. The running back's supposed to split time with Alvin Kamara. I know that Taysom Hill gets some carries, but when I looked at this afternoon, if you go to rushing attempts, they have Jamal Williams, who had 11 carries last week. They have him at a 3.5 carry line. If you go to rushing attempts to Jamal Williams, and it sometimes can be tough to find there. There you go. Player rush attempts. Thank you, buddy. It was 3.5 minus 120, and I want that. He's the goal line back for them. He rests with. He gets Kamara off the field for a couple of plays. There's no one else he's splitting time with except for potentially Taysom Hill, who also plays some quarterback. He had 11 carries last week. They're probably not going to blow out Dallas, but all you need is 4 carries to get home. This will be a guy that I use in same-game parlays, a little bit juiced up here, but I love playing player props, and I think in this case, this is way too low. I expected to go up before Sunday, over 3.5 carries, Jamal Williams, in that game against Bombers-Cowboys on Sunday.
You used logic and reason to get to that play. I understand that it's a little juiced at minus 120, but based on the circumstances around it, it's probably what you're paying for.
An injury gets you home, too. He's the backup to Kamara.
That's what I'm saying, right.
That's your home. You got it. That's it.
Yeah, it's hard to come down on that one. I thought you were going Detroit on this one, but no, I think you actually brought up a pretty decent point about how close he is just to being in that role to where this is just an automatic smash.
One more pick, then we'll get to Thursday Night Football.
All right, last one for me here, and you see how this is all laid out. It's going to be Green Bay. If you can get the Packers at 3.5, I think you have to jump on this simply because you will profit blindly by betting plus 3.5 long term, at least in the NFL. But this was a 7-point line swing. So Jordan Love's injury, Mike Mutnansky, is a 7-point line swing from the opening line here before the season. And that's absurd. That's asinine. No quarterback, not even Tom Brady in his prime, is worth a touchdown plus of a line move. And the reason is because people are remembering Malik Willis from the Titans, and they say, oh, this kid can't play, and all these other things. No. He's not going to be asked to. The quarterback, as far as being in a new spot, has a much better coach in Matt LaFleur and an offense that can work around him and not ask him to win this football game outright. I'll take the Packers here because of this massive overreaction to that line movement.
But you're betting you want Malik Willis, who just
I'm not betting Malik. I'm betting Malik Willis to get me, I don't know, 15 completions, 158 yards, and not turn the football over because the offense is not asking him to go through and do multiple. Malik, look, Matt LaFleur is a good coach. He's not going to ask Malik Willis to turn into Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre.
So you're out of your mind. And by the way, you and a lot of sharp people like Green Bay plus the points. I want no part of this bet. I'm not betting Malik Willis in this spot.
Do you think Jordan Love is worth 7 points? 7 points.
When you're comparing him to Malik Willis, yes. Compared to, I don't think he's an average NFL quarterback. Like I've seen, that's the argument is compared to an average NFL quarterback. There is no sign yet that he's like a legit standard NFL quarterback. So I think you're laying 150. I can't go with you on this game. How about Thursday Night Football? Here in the Sportsbook, Mohegan Sun FanDuel Sportsbook. What do you got for a line there? What's our total? We may go a little past 7 here, so go ahead.
All right. I think the best thing for me, look, you're going to get this on FanDuel. Whether you're able to play it as far as like how much you're able to bet is another thing, right? But you're going to get this 50% boost, right? Like your FanDuel's already, you see this, the no sweat same game parlay. You're also going to get the 50% profit boost for tonight. What I did with my profit boost is I looked at one guy that I thought is going to survive no matter the script. If it's wet, if it's not, if it's a pass game, if it's a run game, if it's Josh Allen tucking it, what have you. I want Dalton Kincaid, 40-plus receiving yards. I use my 50% boost on that, Mutt, to get it at plus 116. That's a unit play for me. That's one of my favorite plays on the night. So it's probably going to be like, 18 total yards, and he's going to get knocked out of the game in the second quarter.
Well, he might, because I already placed that same bet. My same game parlay involves some stock. Listen, Dalton Kincaid, everyone who watched the game, I didn't watch a lot of Arizona Buffalo last week, but the reports are they were double teaming him, take him out of the game. I want Kincaid in this spot. We just got breaking news. Devon Achane is going to play in this game. I like the under at 51 when it started at 51. It was 49 yesterday. 48.5. It's tough to play the under. I lean under and Buffalo in this game. Primetime under 60%. Going back to 2019, they went 3-1 on the weekend. So maybe I thought this getting fleeted up. I'm going to sit here on my hands for a little bit, hang out with Bomber Brad, rip you for staring at the chat for the entire show. And I'm going to hope this gets to 49 because I would love to bet it at 49. I want the under. 48.5 is, I don't know. I guess I'll still end up betting it, but I like to bet her at 49 or 51. But I guess I'll be in the under, Dalton Kincaid, and the Bills. That's my same game parlay in some way, shape, or form.
Look, I got under 51.5 before this moved at the start of the week. It's not a bad one right there. Jeff Wilson was minus 165 earlier in the day on FanDuel as an anytime. He's now up to plus 250, granted, because Achane's going to get some of those looks, but Jeff Wilson's going to play tonight.
Who's the other kid? Jalen Wright, I think, is going to go tonight. He's also going to be active, according to Jeff Darlington. So no Raheem Mostert. Achane's going to play. Jeff Wilson will probably get involved, and so will Jalen Wright. Eitan, excellent job, buddy. Good show. Glad you survived the chat. Are you giving away dinner to somebody here? Am I giving away dinner to somebody at the Mohegan Sun FanDuel Sportsbook?
Yes, you are. Dinner. All right. Drinks. Hopefully what I'm doing is enough. And if not, then whoever gets it, it's going to rip me to somebody. And then next week, I'll hear how much of a cheapskate I am and everything else. $5 is enough to cover dinner and drinks, right?
That's about right. If you watch the show and you want to send the show to your friends and say, look how bad these guys are, send the link. Watch on YouTube at Odd Shopper or on the Mohegan Sun YouTube page. Mohegan Sun's FanDuel Sportsbook here every single Thursday, 6 until 7. Mutt and Eitan, we will see you next week. Goodbye.